in that rather controversial flight. I get around, I have a lot of friends in the Philippines, I have a lot of Filipino-American friends. I knew him. And I didn't know Bradley, but I was very impressed with how he performed. I mean, he really acquitted himself, I thought, rather well. And so I started nosing around, just asking about him, and I read a few things about him on the internet because I knew Manny. So then we get to the school yesterday that, we were touring to see what they were doing, and primarily it was to meet with the Desert Charities group and the hospital people, but we were at a school that is participating in this health initiative. So I was touring the schools, and we were looking at a chef there who was doing an amazing thing, by the way. Those of you from around here would be impressed by this. All these elementary school kids are around three sides of a big square, right? Three separate tables, and they have baskets of apples in front of them. At least 10 different varieties, all grown here in the desert. And the chef and her assistants had apple dicers that would cut them up in chunks safely, and they taught the kids how to do that. And then they were proceeding to make something when I had to go. But since you're from this area, I'll tell you, none of it. So the woman says, okay, now it's history and geography time in a health class. She said, how many different varieties of apples are there in the world? And one kid said, I think it was 5,600. May have been more. Anyway, it was the right answer, whatever it was. It's some massive number. I had no clue. Then she said, how many in America? And nobody got the right answer immediately. She said, 2,500. Did you know that? Different varieties of apples. Then she said, look at the map. This is where they started, up over the Black Sea, and they go through all this. It was stunning. These kids were learning all these things by trying to figure out how to eat healthier. So then we go outside, and they say, Bradley's the father of one of our students. He's out there leading all these kids on this huge athletic field, walking or jogging around. And I said, I got to go meet this guy. It's amazing. That fight was amazing. He's amazing. And it wasn't on the schedule. They all looked at me like, what is he doing? I said, I want to go meet the guy. So I met him, and I said, how's your peak and diet going? And he said, how'd you know? And I told him. And he said, how are you doing? I said, well, the worry I have is when you're over 60, you lose muscle mass anyway. And you got to work out like crazy just to stand in place. So if you lose the iron and the B12 and the other stuff, if you go on a strict vegan diet, you got to figure out how to replace it. And so I said, you take B12 shots? I said, my doctor told me to. He said, yeah. He said, I take them 2 or 3 times a week when I got a fight coming up. But he said, you need it. So we had this long talk. But what impressed me was this guy just won this amazing fight. He beat one of the most outstanding boxers, I think, of the last 50 years in his weight class. And he was there doing what he should have done, taking care of his child and his child's school and the welfare of the families who may not have someone who have a job like him who have the time to do that. That was a big deal to me. There were no headlines there. Nobody knew he was there. As far as I know, if I hadn't gone over to see him, there wouldn't be a story there. But there he was. And I was more impressed by that than I was by what he did in the ring.
Okay, we have time
Yes.
for